if you keep the curve lower on minions and your higher minions are Weapons Attendant and Muradin, Caricature Artist will tutor them.
I will say that the problem I have with Caricature Artist is that Muradin already has a beard. And now you're putting a mustache on a beard, and that's just, there's something really wrong about that, and it offends my sensibilities.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 521 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Thursday, October 30th, 2025 in the evening. Coming to you from Nomergan, Ohio, it's me, Edelweiss. From North Rend, Massachusetts, we have Wicked Good.
Hi.
From Teldersill, California, we have Megasa.
Hello.
And from all around the world, we have you, dear listeners. This week's episode is brought to you by our producers, Number Theory, Kresh, Beef Squatch, David P., Jeremy T., Bottle Caps, Grumpy Monk, The Burger Club, Kirk Regan, May, NY Kiwi, Spine, Proby1, and by our patrons of the week, Sander de Jong and Wash in the Wind. You can go to patreon.com/Concede to get perks like a thank you at the top of the show, bonus post-show content, early access to new episodes, one-on-one coaching sessions, and help support the show in the process. If you would like to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast feed of choice, as it always helps other people find the show. So, Life and Ladder. I have been playing a whole lot of the Brawl, right? The Prerelease Tavern Brawl. Did not get the sequence bundle this time, just the ones we got on the show, the Mega and the Standard, but still, a fair amount to work with. And initially, and we'll get into this more, I'm sure, I tried stuff and then was like, Quest Warrior, that seems good. Because the nature of these, right, is people lean towards certain aggressive strategies, a lot of times older aggressive strategies. And so gaining a lot of armor and having a lot of board clears was extremely effective, and you don't have to worry about a win condition when you have the quest. So that got me a couple of 6-win runs, and then the meta shifted, and then I was playing Frost Decay, and that got me a couple of 6-win runs. So been doing a bunch of that. And of course, we'll talk more about the Theorycrafting later, but we had that last week. I am tentatively optimistic about the new cards. I definitely think they will have an impact. I am nervous it will not be as high an impact as I would like. Is that?
I mean, that's always the case, though, right? I mean, it always kind of seems like the old stuff is going to be refined. The new stuff may take a little bit longer, and the easy thing is to take a couple of cards that fit into a pre-existing deck and just kind of go. So
yeah, I feel like once upon a time it was just not a concern.
Yeah, I mean, we've had enough expansions where I remember even back in the off-curve days, like talking about how the first 2 weeks of a new expansion were like early access testing, and then you had to wait for the first balance patch before you actually saw what the meta was going to shape up like. So I think this has been a phenomenon for a while, but it's more of a concern lately, and these cards seem stronger than the ones that we've gotten, for sure. But we'll see if they're strong enough. But I feel like even if they're not strong enough, like, it should be an easier time to tweak the numbers and get them to a place where they need to be.
I think both easier and more, I guess, palatable to final design, right? They seem to have a particular distaste for powerful quests, or I guess for multiple powerful quests. I don't know. And I think that Fabled just is not that way, right? Like, there's nothing seem like inherently dangerous about the design space from this set. So
yeah, and it seems like they did a lot of, there's definitely synergistic cards in this, but it's less like Imbue and Quest, in that it all needs to work together as one package, in a sense, in order for it to work. I think there are fewer sets like that where if you can't play all of them, then you can't play any of them, right? So we'll have to see how that goes. Again, even after the first week, when we talk about this next week, there might be older lists outperforming ones that haven't been refined yet. Part of the downside of having a lot of packages that don't make necessarily all of them super obvious decks is that means they'll take longer to refine. But they'll probably be a aggressive, or maybe not, but often it's more aggressive new deck that is good on day one, so then everyone plays it, like Quest Paladin for this last expansion, or I'm trying to think of ones that we've had before. Snake Warlock, Handbuff Paladin several expansions ago. And sometimes that deck gets nerfed. Often that deck gets nerfed, in part just because it's the popular deck in the first week. So it takes a few days at least for a meta to settle down, so we'll have to see. And also, usual reminder, we'll be talking about Theorycrafting and the Prerelease Brawl in this episode. Neither of those are the real meta.
Yeah.
Yes.
They give us a sense of how the cards work together and how they play, but it doesn't tell us what the meta's going to be.
Yeah, I would predict there will be a few decks that are either old decks using a couple of new cards, right? Like Aulonius Druid. People may experiment with using more new cards and then narrow down to just Queen Azara, or by which I mean just the copy location. And then I kind of think there might be a Deus Incendius rogue of some variety, which would be a new deck, but only one new card. Maybe two, right? You've got the draw spell that discounts fast forward.
Should have put that for card I'm scared of.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that doesn't... that potential deck... the only thing it cares about new is Deus, really. Because that is what allows you to double up on the battle cry, and the end of turn for Incendius. You can tutor minions reasonably in Rogue. And then, of course, you've got Scoundrel, right? So it is just Scoundrel into Deus Insidious as quickly as possible. And of course, because Deus doubles the Scoundrel, right? It is 9 mana. It is 9 mana to go Deus, Scoundrel Mini, Incendious on the same turn.
Okay, I was gonna ask what's the mana break point here, but because it doubles the mini Scoundrel, yep.
And you've
Rogue doesn't pay retail price for anything.
Yeah, Rogue does not play by the rules. You got coins as well, right?
Rogue is a Maxinista.
So I suspect people will be messing around with it and trying to refine that, and it will be opposed by aggro decks. And
hopefully some new aggro decks like Shards of Time.
Yeah,
Warlock.
I mean the Shreds of Time. It's so interesting.
Shreds of Time, yeah.
Right. There's just no way of knowing how this all plays off each other. Shreds of Time Warlock has some extremely potent early game plays, but it also does hurt a lot, more than I expect. Maybe I was just unlucky, but it does seem like it hurts a fair bit.
But we also don't have the Pain Lock cards in the pre-release brawl. Right? So
yes.
when you have things like Infernal and Hearthstone and whatnot to kind of subsidize that, it might be a little bit better. I mean, it might surprise you that I have resorted to playing Dreadlock, because that is one of the very few decks that I opened in my packs. I got the Mega Bundle and I got the Shaman cards. I could not make that work. I can see that they're powerful, but not in my hands. And I got a 6-win run with Aura Paladin, basically right after the Quest Warlock. Yeah.
I really wish I could play that. I did the Aura Paladin in coaching with NY Kiwi. Shout out to NY Kiwi. And because he had opened Gelbin and was playing that deck.
Yeah.
And we managed to go 6-2, which was really more him than me, I'll be honest. I was not in my highest thinking cap. And I was just like, well, let's just send it face. And he's like, actually, we really need to trade because of this and this and reason. And I'm like, all right, fine.
It's a mid-range deck. It's not an aggro deck. So it is like the mid-rangiest of mid-range decks. And I posted that list in Discord, and I got World 8 said, oh, I want to play this. And that's the highest praise that one could get, I think. So
Yeah.
So I was happy with that because I just kind of cobbled that together on my own. Not that there's a whole lot. I mean, it's not a hard deck to build. You search for aura in the collection manager, you click everything that's legal because there's not all that much, and then you put in Gelbin and basically things that help you draw Gelbin, and that's it.
The one thing that I would recommend is Ido the Thresh Fleet.
Yeah,
was totally our MVP.
I think I had that in an original build, and then I lost it somewhere along the way. And I have not been of clear mind and sound body this week, so I think that also may have had something to do with it. But that was one of the things I was able to play. So this morning, after I put on someone's stream overnight, and I got the drops from the community day packs, and I opened up a signature Chronogore. So I'm like, okay, I guess I need to play a Shredlock, and I mean, I'm 3-1 with it. I'm in the middle of a run now. I haven't finished the run yet. And the one run that I lost was because I got like completely out tempoed by an aggro shaman, by a burn shaman, who just had like a 7/7 whatever on like turn 3. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not beating that with my guys. Like my guys are big, but not that big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the pain, the pain does hurt. But I feel like we don't have the pain lock cards, and I do feel like the pain lock, like even just a Hearthstone or or an Infernal to be able to heal yourself back up, or it seems like you probably don't need the whole pain lock package, but a couple of those things are probably good. Also, what's the is it the 1-drop that gets +1/+1 for each damage you've taken this turn?
I think it's a 2-drop.
Yeah.
There's also, I think partly because of this, we don't run a bunch of other self-damage stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We just run the shreds.
Right.
And then like swarming and dragon stuff. We don't have some of the dragon stuff in the pre-release brawl also.
Yeah, like this list that I'm playing is running Flame Imp, and I don't think you really, and it, just because like you need to fill out the deck, and I don't think you really need Flame Imp in the version that we're going to play live.
Yeah. I guess and I suppose since we're just doing superlatives later, this is sort of the let's just vibe about Theorycrafting and Brawl section. But I don't know how to think about all this because there's no doubt the Shreds of Time stuff is strong. But it felt to me like it could get run over by like Elemental Shaman and Frost Decay and some of these other aggressive decks that do not exist in Standard, right? Why do they not exist? Because they tend to get beaten. Well, I guess 1, because they're not exciting always, but 2, because they kind of end up getting beaten by more established, some of the slower decks. So
the Frost Decay also really benefits from the small pool, so that they can always discover
absolutely.
the 0 mana Horror of Winter.
Yeah. Well, right, but my point is like, if it's getting like in this more limited environment beaten by these more limited aggressive decks, will it then just be sort of similar when it has access to more stuff, but so does everything else? And now what you're getting beaten by is Beast Hunter that's obliterating people, or something like that,
That's definitely possible. I want to quickly on the Aura Paladin give a shout out to it was Runic Drip who made the list that I was doing with NY Kiwi, and I had the Thresh Fleet. It also had Creature of the Sacred Cave, which recasts a holy spell. That was more awkward. It was good when you got it to work. I don't know if that's going to make the cut, but Ido felt awesome because at least in that environment, it might be different in the actual meta, but it stuck very easily, and then you could just like allow other. So this card, probably a lot of people don't know what it is. It's
yeah, you need to explain what it is. Yeah,
I believe it's a 5-drop 2/7.
Nope. 4 mana,
4
2/7.
4 mana 2/7. Thank you. Yes, that's much better than a 5-drop. 4 mana 2/7 that gives you this permanent spell in your hand that's 2 mana, give something +2/+2 in Divine Shield. So you can cast as many of those as you want. And the Divine Shield is actually really important there because it just makes things really hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
And if you wait to play her until 6 and get at least one of those, then that's not terrible value. She's hard to remove, especially if you put it on her, but you can also put it on something else. If you have the taunt aura thing going, every turn you're getting a taunt in the way of killing her. So, and if you have like other auras going on that'll buff her at the end of the turn, there's a lot that can be helpful.
Yeah, a powerful card that just hasn't really had a home so far, and I don't know if this will be the home or if it's just sort of like, you know, a high performer for the mini meta that is
yeah, not the real meta
pre-release brawl, but I do feel like post rotation it could be standout. I have at various points experimented with different paladins, and it does feel like a really good card, right? It's just sort of situational.
Yeah. I mean, we got like a 15 attack Righteous Protector on a pretty early turn.
That seems
and then just
reasonable.
Kill them.
Yeah.
Now, there are definitely things that could counter that, but the particular deck that we were facing, I think there was only one card. I can't remember which deck it was or what card it was. We were saying, as long as they don't have this card, then we're probably good.
Don't put that into the universe. What's wrong with you? You should know better by now. Like, you don't speak those things.
See, I was real tired yesterday. I had been prepping for this big meeting with my supervisor for my grad school class, and then after that, it was just like all over the place. But I hope the Warlock is good, but I'm also happy if other aggressive decks are good. I think that Muradin Shaman with Pirates might be even a lot better.
Yeah.
I have been playing
in the current brawl because most of the pirates are not there. I was my first. I took one of, I don't know which one of you built the pirate shaman for Theorycrafting, because that was the first thing I did. Is I put that into the clients. Like, oh, this deck is 20 red cards. Fantastic.
Yep.
It's almost all perils. Yeah. It's almost all perils, but we threw Muradin in, so it's definitely not.
Yeah, and I'm actually wondering, because something I experienced in the pre-release was that even though I was doing that, right, with the pirate tutor and everything, I still struggled more than I expected with the Muradin deck. And I wasn't keeping strict check, but it was sort of like, you know, either get out aggroed or, you know, facing down taunts, right? But, you know, continually getting in the position where it felt like not quite enough time to just get over the finish line with the weapon. And so I don't know if it will just end up working out because of how meta shapes out, or if the direction I want to go is actually we keep the location for the pirates, we keep like patches and that Muradin and the tutor guy, and then build around it control stuff, right? Like baking soda volcano and hex and some of these other tools to be able to maybe even like you know, Hagatha into Frosty Decor kind of thing, right? And have those defensive tools to be able to stay stable alongside the consistent draw of the weapon.
Yeah, I built one like that as well. I don't know that I built it in the right way, but just trying to, have a... It might be that there's an aggro Muradin, or it might be that there isn't. The first like 2 games that I played with the Muradin Pirate Shaman in Theorycrafting before we got there were awesome, super aggressive, just killed him, and then Theorycasting came, and the curse of the Theorycasting.
That's it. You're done at that point. At least we are.
Yeah, I just got destroyed twice in a row. So, although I don't know if we can blame that on the deck so much as the curse of the Theorycasting. coming in to spectate. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like in like live, because I tried to like when I tried to build it in the pre-release brawl, like I just wasn't getting Muradin consistently enough, and I think there's probably a way to build it with like exactly 3 battle cries, so you always, or maybe not exactly 3, but like, or maybe it's exactly 2 battle cries or whatever, so that Fairy Tale Forest finds it and gets
Paint
it out
Fin
of the
can
deck.
draw it
Yeah,
if you don't
Paint
have other
Fin.
rush.
Yeah, so there's like there are things that can find it more consistently, and like I was having to rely on things like Farsight just to try to draw through the deck, and that was not it. And by the time that I would find Muradin, it was like too late a lot of the time in the pre-release. In the pre-release
Yeah,
brawl.
I am 3. The first couple shamans that I did not go very well. I think I made an elemental shaman, but either didn't pilot it well or didn't build it well or got unlucky. One of the probably not the third one, probably one of the first 2. But I wanted to try out the sort of self-damage and like nature elemental stuff. And I'd happened to open Muradin, so I was trying that out. I am 3-1 with it right now. But it's the later wins that really test you there. So we'll have to see. But I changed it. It was a deck list that I got from HS Top Decks. Let's see whose it was. But I added in Flight of the Firehawk because it really needed more draw.
Oh yeah, I had that in from the start. That was the other thing that I had. Yeah. I had that in from the start, and then I had like Prize Vendor and the dragon that draws a minion and something else that was a type to make sure that I was getting value out of that, and then trying to find those that would hopefully draw Muradin. And it was a valiant attempt, but it didn't really get me in. And also, this also may be I'm not the one to pilot that deck, because me piloting a burn aggro deck, like I can play aggro, but I can't build aggro. Like I don't know how to build an aggressive deck.
Yeah, that's how I feel about control decks. When I went for Theorycrafting to try to build control decks, I was like, oh, I can build these if Wicked makes it, but I don't know how to build. It's like, or I tried to make a warrior with Logash. Absolutely terrible. And then Edel pointed out she had already posted one in our group chat. So I tried that, and it was great. And I totally feel like maybe that could have gotten me 6 wins, but they banned the quests in the brawl before I had a chance to finish. I was 3-0 when they banned it. Was still a decent amount of time playing it because it was 3 long games that I had before suddenly the quest was banned. Yeah. So
I mean, at least you got the cards that I wanted. I think I probably got the cards you wanted, because like I didn't get a Logash, I didn't get a Rafam, I didn't get a Medivh, I didn't get a Sandragosa. So like I didn't pull any of the cards that would have let me play like a slower game plan. So I just kind of made lemonade. But I did pull a signature Garona, because of course I did.
So did I. I also pulled a signature Time Looper Toki.
That's a card. That is one of the cards of all time.
Yeah, I think I also got a signature Time Looper Toki. I have been tempted, because I've opened the packs, got bit by bit, got a couple more legendaries, and I'm like, I still haven't picked up Medivh. Should we just go for the meme, pick up the sequence bundle, and see if I roll signature Medivh just for the constant of you get the signature I would have wanted, and I get the one that you would have wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got both rogue legendaries, because of course I did. I got no priest legendaries and both rogue legendaries, because that's whatever code had in there to make sure that I got the rogue legendaries is still there. Apparently, it just took a set off.
He put it in secretly, so no one knows it's there. It'll be there forever. Yeah, I mean that's how code works when somebody leaves, right?
Can confirm.
It's just there forever, unless a story from a friend where her coworker was running a very important script. It turned out on his personal work laptop that then, when he left, got wiped. They didn't find out until they needed the results from the script the next morning.
Yeah.
And so they were up all night doing it by hand. And having to rewrite it.
I have a similar story like this that I will save for the post show if you remind me, but I think we
yes, we should not Get
we should
distracted.
not tarry any longer, and unless anyone else has anything to share for Life and Ladder, I think we should go on to news, because there is a bit of it, and then we will go on to talk about the cards that we are happy and sad about from the new set after having played with them.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Okay, so we have to start with, as is customary when we've gotten a pre-release brawl, we have patch notes, because we have patch 34.0. In case you haven't heard us talking for the past 20 to 30 minutes, Across the Timeways is coming out. It is available in the new patch. It comes out on November 4th, which is Tuesday. You can still buy the pre-order bundles, probably when you're hearing this, depending on when you listen. So if you haven't, get on it. The pre-release brawl, as we've been talking about for the last while, is still there, as our community days are going on through this weekend. If you are listening to the podcast, they have likely ended. If you are watching the stream, they are not. So make sure to watch your favorite streamers and get your packs from the Twitch drops. The pre-release brawl is still going on. You can go and enter that as much as you would like, and that's also a good way to get more packs from the new set. The change to Mr. Clocksworth is live. We talked about that last week. It has gone from rewind to just rewind. That's along with some optimizations they've made to the rewind speed. It seems a little snappier, not much.
I would say it's noticeably snappier, but
yeah. But I think the gap between when the animation ends and when the replay happens is still kind of more noticeable than anything. But I'm sure they'll tweak that as they go. But that's probably the best that they can do with that. There are a number of Battlegrounds updates. There are a bunch of buddies that are moving around tiers. You can go read that in the patch notes. I'm sure that these are significant, but I couldn't tell you how. I don't think any of us are really qualified for that. So, Arena, the new season has started in Arena. Arena cards Across the Timeways cards are available in Arena right now. So if you don't want to do the pre-release brawl, or you didn't get good rolls, or you just didn't buy the pre-order, you can enter Arena and you can play with the Across the Timeways cards in Arena, with the asterisk that the Fabled Legendaries are not currently available in Arena. They're going to be added in a future update. So you have less of an opportunity to get a Legendary, because half the Legendaries from the set roughly half the set Legendaries in the set are Fabled. But you still have the non-Fabled Legendaries and the neutral Legendaries that you can pick up in the first pick in the Arena draft. The rest of the pool is the Lost City of Ungoro, it's the Emerald Dream, the Great Dark Beyond, Perils in Paradise, and Whizbang's Workshop, so effectively standard size. There's also a new reward for getting 12 wins in Underground. There is an Old Ways Ulfar hero skin that replaces the previous reward hero skin. So once you unlock it, any subsequent 12 win runs will get you an alternate prize of 2 golden Across the Timeways packs. And right now, when you're playing Arena, I believe you'll still get Lost City of Ungoro packs. Once the set unlocks on November 4th, you'll get Across the Timeways packs. So you can play with the cards now, but you won't earn the packs in Arena until Tuesday. There are also some new Arena achievements that are available with the new set.
And one thing to actually note with that, so they involve opening Across the Timeways packs and finishing Underground ones with 6+ wins, which is hard. What I've heard from Arena players is that like Underground is even more cutthroat than previous Arena used to be. But this does mean that if you didn't get a pre-order, if you've opened fewer than 50 Across the Timeways packs, it in the achievements manager in the journal, it is tracking how many packs you've opened if you want to see how close you are to the pity timer for opening packs. So that was a tip from someone in the Discord today. Unfortunately, it does not track after 50 packs.
So we also have some in-game events that are starting. So on release day and going through November 25th, we're going to be getting the Across the Timeways in-game event. So you're going to choose Kel'Thuzad, Medivh, or Magni, and then you're going to earn their hero skin along with 6 across the Timeways packs, 3 Lost City of Un'Goro packs, 2 into the Emerald Dream packs, 1 Great Dark Beyond pack, and 3 Year of the Pegasus packs. So really, it's just a matter of picking which of those skins you're likely to play. You know, they do show Magni as being for Death Knight, Paladin, and Shaman.
I think that's probably the theme of the quests that you get. So like we
Yeah,
had this
okay.
before where the quests were a little bit different depending on who you chose. Kel'Thuzad, Mage, Medivh, Priest, and Magni, it looks like Shaman there. So those will be the classes that the hero's for, but then it says other classes there just because I think that's kind of the theme of the quest, but I don't think you have to play those classes in order to complete the event. So you should probably just go with whatever portrait you prefer.
Yeah, just go with whatever portrait you like. It's fine. The event that's happening after that is very interesting. It's from November 25th to December 3rd, we're getting the Vendor's Bargain Blowout just in time for Black Friday. And it is bringing, what it says is it's bringing the bling from Hearthstone's past. So what you're going to earn through this event track are unowned card back, unowned card back, an unowned coin card back, an unowned coin, and 2 unowned hero skins from the years of the Griffin, Hydra, and Wolf. Those are several years ago. And it's possible that you do have at least the coins, you may have all of them. If you do already own everything from that category, you'll instead receive a number of Golden Across the Timeways packs as a reward instead. So this is pretty cool because they don't bring those old cosmetics back very often. Like the card backs, they almost never, and coins, they almost never offer again. The hero portraits, they will sometimes throw into the shop for gold, but it's pretty hit or miss if there's a particular one that you missed. So you may still not get the one that you missed if you wanted it, but at least you're going to have a chance at it. So that's pretty cool. So do make sure to do that quest when it comes around. And speaking of things that they haven't done in a long, long time, we're getting a World Championship quest line in Tavern Brawl. So Hearthstone Worlds is happening December 18th to 21st. And from November 26th to December 3rd, there's going to be a legendary quest line to be a champion to earn a World Championship card back and 2 Across the Timeways packs. And then they are bringing back the World's Tavern Brawl. And it has been years. Like, I think it's been maybe even 5 years or 6 years since they've done this. And so
I didn't even know that they did this. That's how long it's been.
So it's been a while. So, and this is one of the coolest Tavern Brawls that they've done outside of like, you know, Brawliseum type thing. So basically what they do is you roll, and I don't know if you're going to get to choose. It was random when they did it the last time. You get to play one of the decks that were part of the winning champions lineup for every year of Worlds from 2014 through 2024. And when I say those decks, I mean those decks exactly.
Uh-huh.
So Patron Warrior from 2015, unaltered, original Patron Warrior.
So that they have like unnerfed the cards. Like the cards are how they were.
They are the cards are exactly the way that they were in that year as they won them, which is very, very cool. So if you've ever heard about Patron Warrior, or you know, even like Pavel's Tempo Mage, right? Which that was the babbling book against Amnesiac, that Tempo Mage, if memory serves.
Yes.
Like, so like these are kind of iconic moments in Hearthstone, competitive Hearthstone history. And like, I don't remember as much about some of like the more recent ones, but certainly like Josesi's Garrett Rogue, like if you've heard us talking about Stormwind and you haven't tried your hand at Garrett Rogue, that is certainly a thing that you can do without risking your MMR, which is the best way to do that.
Bunny Hopper's Control Priest.
Oh yeah, let's go.
with Svalna.
Oh yeah.
Famously, he had like an hour-long game for the last like decider game of the finals.
Oh,
That was a mirror of Control Priest.
man.
Yeah.
That's delightful. I cannot wait. So yeah, this is gonna be a very fun Tavern Brawl. Don't miss this one. Really. Like, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I might play this more than ranked that week, just because this is a hell of a blast from the past. And getting to play these decks against each other is really cool too. Like, at the way that they were at the time.
What I don't understand is how Pocket's deck is pure Paladin. How was that the choice?
I mean, it should have been Boar Priest, right? Did he play it that year?
That's what I'm not sure like how to look up what his lineup was from that year. But
Did you just like message him and ask him?
I just can't imagine pure Paladin being like the one to go with.
I don't think that year was the Boar Priest year, 2023, or was it?
I thought it was. Maybe he didn't. He might not have brought it, but
it might not have been like in his Worlds lineup.
There are also 2 other priests that are represented, right? So they might have, and there aren't any other paladins. That might have been the only paladin that was ever brought to Worlds.
Okay,
I don't know.
I found it. He had combo Naga Demon Hunter.
Oh.
Dragon Druid, right? Which was like with Gardens and Alex Strauss of the Lifebinder, Phi, Dragon Golem, that stuff. Naga Priest. With clergy.
Oh, Naga Priest, yeah, not
salesman,
priest.
all that stuff, funnel cakes, and then the buff pure paladin, right?
Yeah.
Which is like,
to be fair, that was a fun deck. I enjoyed that deck a lot.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they picked it because it's sort of the most distinct, right? Like Naga Priest is vaguely like Inner Fire Priest. It plays pretty differently, right? But vaguely like Inner Fire Priest, which Lion, they picked for Lion. Naga Demon Hunter feels like the more pocket trainy deck,
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That was kind of the pocket train special deck, I think.
I did love this paladin though, right? With the Countess, that was super fun. I'm curious, like, what is gonna be in the pool for Countess legendaries for this brawl? But
I would think that it would be
point.
I mean, I guess I would hope that the Discover would be what was there, but I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, Garden's Grace, an amazing card, and of course Horn of the Windlord. So
I played a lot of that deck.
Yeah, good deck. Not saying it's not a good deck, but it just doesn't feel like the most pocket deck to go with.
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true.
I am surprised that there's no Miracle Rogue represented. Like, I don't. Did Firebat play Miracle Rogue or Osaka?
I'm sure he did. Right?
Yeah, maybe maybe that's the same thing where they had to find a hunter to.
I mean, I'm guessing Garrote Rogue is filling that slot.
Yeah.
Right? Like Garrote Rogue is a Miracle Rogue. It's just even harder.
Yeah, and Garrote Rogue is a kind of an iconic deck that they really do. It's like Patron Warrior. Like, you have to include that.
It is, and they did try and at least some of the time be sort of like, okay, what was kind of the more iconic for this player deck, right? Like, they had to take Face Hunter for Firebat. But it is a little sad not to see the Blade Flurry that breaks my weapon and hits you in the face alongside Sharp Sword Oil.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, I am glad to see that Priest is the only class that's represented twice in this list. So,
even if one is Inner Fire Priest.
Yeah, I mean, one of them is Inner Fire Priest, which is a bummer, but we can't everything. We can't all be winners. But anyway,
I played so much bad Inner Fire Priest back in the day.
I had to play Inner Fire Priest back then. It wasn't my favorite. Speaking of things that are disappointing, Arthas is in Dark Moon Fair Treasures. There, I mentioned it. And we do have a few bug fixes. Beast Speaker Taga didn't trigger its Death Rattle effect after being resummoned. I've forgotten what Beast Speaker Taga does, so I'm not. Apparently, Hallucination was playable on a full board. That seems like a bummer. So, given that it summons a minion, so that no longer does. Fix a bug where dissolving ooze gave max stats instead of current stats. So I guess if you had if you had like a damage minion, it would give whatever the full max health was instead of like whatever the current health was.
Yeah, if you had somehow altered stats. I think also like if you buffed it, it wouldn't give the buffed attack, which would be a bummer.
Yeah. And Opoo the Unseen failed to resolve minion deaths between the battle cry and combo triggers. So it's supposed to Phantom Knives. And I actually didn't. This is another case of wow, that's a bug, not a feature. Because I wasn't sure that it was supposed to work that way. But apparently it's supposed to Phantom Knives once and then wait for deaths to resolve and then Phantom Knives again. But I guess it was just doing 2 damage immediately. And if one of the minions was going to die, it would wait to resolve any death rattle triggers until both Phantom Knives had gone off. So
cool.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, Opoo does see some play occasionally. Not so much lately, but it has.
I think it's just because a lot of people haven't been playing Standard. I played a little bit of Standard because I was close to 11x, and now I am farther from 11x. So not going to happen this month.
Yeah, I played a lot of Hades too. So we did also, and I think we kind of alluded to it. We did get some bans about a day after the pre-release Brawl launched. So all of the quests from Lost City of Ungoro were banned, mainly because of Quest Warlock sins, because you could pretty much build Quest Warlock and just smoke people, and to the point where it was, there were a bunch of streamers that were getting kind of frustrated with it, and it kind of felt bad when you got into the higher win brackets and ran into a quest lock in a lot of these, suboptimal decks that you're building with whatever you opened versus you just have all the cards for quest lock and you just play that. And I mean, not all the cards because you don't have everything, but like most of it.
Yeah, I think that, as you say, it was mostly Quest Warlock, but they didn't want to do whack-a-mole of like, okay, that one's off the table, but people play, one of the other quest decks, right? Like people saw, or I definitely saw like the Quest Demon Hunter picking up, which maybe people find less offensive because it has not been viable ever. But it being viable here still feels like, okay, but you're not doing the new cards. This is just it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to play the quest where it might actually be good, right? Like,
I mean, but now we just have Frost Death Knight in that role because there's always going to be something, because people did, reasonably want to play the Brawl to get some packs without having the pre-order, and as long as or they did open some packs, but they didn't get everything they need for a particular type of new deck. So instead they're playing, like, there's always going to be something old like that. So I almost wish that they had left in Quest Demon Hunter, left in Quest Warrior, left in Quest Warrior has been playable in Standard, but like left in things we haven't seen that much in Standard, like left in Quest Hunter. Sure, like,
I mean, the
I
interesting
got smoked
thing
by a couple of Quest Hunters too, and that didn't feel great either. I mean, it does get old.
Now you're just smoked by a single deck Frost Death Knight in every other game that I've had since.
I actually have not seen Frost Death Knight that much. It definitely shows up, and I was playing it, right? But I mean, I was playing it before they banned the quest. But I do feel like there's been some adjustment, right, of people sort of adapting, right? I've seen a few more like Blood Death Knights, right? Which maybe
that's not how you convince me this is better.
Which maybe
that's like telling me, hey, you can play against Burgle Rogue now. So
I'm saying like people are adjusting and maybe playing some more controlling things to beat the Elemental Shamans, the Frost DKs, right? Like, I've seen more Elemental Shamans than Frost DKs.
I did see an uptick in that just now. When I was playing a little earlier, it was just like Frost DK Stone.
I think this is just kind of an unsolvable tension between like people being able to participate and play with some old cards. and like wanting to highlight as much as possible some of the new cards. And yeah, and I understand them not wanting to have to go like, okay, we got rid of this quest, but now more people are doing this other quest and people don't like that. And so they were just like, okay, well, let's just take quests off the table because they, play a particular samey way or whatever, right?
And they more obviously like not interested in playing, and not as interested in playing the new cards, right?
I mean, what's funny, right, is the quest warrior I had actually plays a lot of new cards, right?
Yeah.
It plays
that's
Precursory
kind
Strike.
of the exception because it's not really as parasitic as the other quests, right?
Well, right, because the quest is literally just the quest, right? It is okay. My win condition is spoken for. Now we just need to survive, and so it got to run for glory, which is insane. Precursory Strike, which is very good, and then release the Crocolisks. And I was running Logosh, and Logosh felt solid. Was also running the new dragon, right? Legendary. Like, there's a lot of new control tools that I got to play because I could go, okay, and for my win condition, I have the quest. And there's probably still a control warrior you could make in there. It just probably can't beat a Rafam warlock or something that is more sort of value goes long. Like, you can still gain a lot of armor, you can still beat these aggressive things where you didn't necessarily need the quest anyway, but anything that does go longer, like, you don't have that reward to fall back on, and there's not really a replacement, right?
Yeah, I tried to do the like gladiatorial combat, like the first thing that I built, and I also, I'm not an expert on building this type of deck, but gladiatorial combat with Logosh and with like undefeated champion and Draco Rex, but it just didn't have enough gas in it for slower decks. Now, it was definitely missing some cards there, but when I added the quest, that felt way better.
Yeah.
So.
And I just didn't open any of the warrior cards, so I didn't have an opportunity to play it before they took it out. But hopefully there will be a quest warrior in standard that'll be viable with some of these cards too. It seems pretty likely somehow. So they also banned alternate reality because it had a bug, and Elise the Navigator for Elise reasons. So
yeah,
just for completeness.
That one's fair.
Yeah, I think we've all seen enough Elise. We can take a break from her in the pre-release brawl for sure. We got a little bit of information about the Tavern Pass refresh as well. A lot of it, you can go through the article that we'll have linked in the show notes. A lot of it's kind of the same things. I think the biggest change that's worth calling out is the very end. Instead of getting hero portraits, we're now getting signature legendary fabled cards. So you're getting a signature legendary Azure Queen Syndragosa and the two tokens that go along with her, Azure King Malygos and Azure Oathstone. So that's a change, and I don't have strong feelings one way or the other, but I hope that card is playable in standard so that it sees some play for the people who are buying into the Tavern Pass.
I mean, hey, in this particular instance, I am definitely for it because I want the signature Azure Queen Syndragosa. Yeah, there's such a density of portraits at this point, right? The game's been out for a very long time. I think in general, I'm sort of pleased to get a signature instead, because it means that for the person who has all the cards, well, it's still not like you will necessarily have very many signatures, right? They are so premium. It's not like you can guarantee that you get all signatures as much as possible the way that you can full golden a deck, right? So it still will feel like a nice reward for someone, even if you already have Syndragosa. And then for players who don't have all the cards, right? It's not just a signature one, but it is the card. So maybe if you didn't have Syndragosa and now you get her. So I don't know. I think it's nice.
Yeah. You also can get the signature Stormrook and signature Sandmaw with the legendary collector achievements, which are generally collecting most or all of the cards in the set. So
it becomes easier once the mini set is out. It's like all of the cards in the set until the mini set. Then it doesn't increase the number of cards you need to get the legendary achievement, but you get more cards from the set because if you get the mini set. So that makes it easier to achieve. You don't have to 100% it to get these in a few months. The Stormrook is beautiful here.
Yeah.
I think.
Sandmaw's pretty good
the
too.
Sandmaw's very good. Yeah.
Also of note, the free Across the Timeways rewards track not only gives you a random legendary fabled card, right?
Yeah.
I
think they're saying
cool.
that's on the free track, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
So previously, free track has had random legendary card, which was awesome, and then there would also be like at the start of it, some eventually they started adding at the start of it, or near the beginning, you get some legendary that's like iconic to the set or whatever, and so now it's like you get the random legendary fabled card, random legendary card, and Chronolord Deos, who I think I will be surprised if Deos is not relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody gets that. And it's also worth mentioning there are still some hero portraits on the paperwork crack. There's a Ranger Lord Nathanos for Hunter. There's a Hopeful Vanessa for Rogue. There's a Druid Illidan for Druid. Newly Risen Scarlet for Death Knight. High Paladin Mechatork for Paladin. War Chief Gen for Warrior. Xavius the Exile for Warlock. Demon Hunter Malfurion for Demon Hunter. So you're still getting almost the same number of hero portraits. You're just not getting them, and they're kind of being distributed a little bit more evenly anyway. You're not having to wait till the very end to get them. So that's also good. Yeah. So, but let's stop talking about earning the cards and let's talk about the cards that we're excited to play right now. We're excited to play on Tuesday.
All right, so as always, right before a set comes out, we have organized our discussion around our superlatives, which are card you can't wait to play with, card you're scared of, card you want to be good but isn't, card you think is over or underrated, and our category that we changed recently into card you just wanted to talk about. So we will start with cards that we can't wait to play with. I had a hard time choosing for this one, actually. There's definitely multiple things that I want to try out, but I decided to go with Myrddin. We talked a lot about without defining. So he is the 5-mana 3/2 Fabled from Shaman that has Rush, Battlecry, Bring the High King's Hammer to me, and Death Rattle, add it to your hand. And the High King's Hammer is a 6-mana 3/4 Wind Fury weapon that Death Rattle shuffles itself back into your deck with +2 attack. And then there's also Avatar Form, which is just like a solid card, especially if you get it on Wind Fury, but even if you don't, which is a 3-mana spell that gives a character +2 attack, and after it attacks, it deals 2 damage to all enemies. I did learn today that doesn't work with spell damage because it's not the spell doing the damage.
Yeah.
It's the character. But it would work with something like Lifesteal, probably, if you had a Lifesteal thing from somewhere. I haven't tried that, but it seems like it would.
You probably need a Dark Gift to do that, which you're not going to have in the Prerelease Brawl. But like Xavius would be able to give him Lifesteal and then do that. Yeah.
But I mean, you could give that to like any minion you had that happened to have Lifesteal. You don't have to give it to Myrddin.
Oh yeah,
it's just good
true.
to give it to something with Wind Fury. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But sometimes you end up having to use it on something else to not die, or if you draw it before you draw the other things. But Myrddin just seems like there's got to be a way that we're playing him. I don't know if it's pirates. I don't know if it's the self-damage nature thing, or if it's a slightly more controlling shaman, and this is the inevitability that goes along with it. But I'm interested in kind of all of them. And it just seems like a ridiculous card. Like, by himself, he is a 5-mana 6/6 rush Wind Fury. Like,
yeah, I think that the fail case for Muradin is that he's run in every shaman deck until he rotates. Like, because there's not really a downside. All the cards he comes with are good cards. Now, whether we have a deck whose sole win condition is High King's Hammer, I think that is up for debate, right? Like that is what we're going to be figuring out in the first 2 weeks. Is it something aggressive? I think it's definitely going to have pirates and it's definitely going to have weapons attendant. But is it something aggressive? Is it something more controlling with Ancient of Yore and a bunch of control tools? Shaman doesn't have like the most amazing control tools right now, except for Baking Soda Volcano and Hex, right?
I mean, Hex is pretty good.
Yeah, but what it's missing is sort of the mid to late game board clear for a bunch of stuff. And like Typhoon is 10 mana. That's just, if Typhoon was 8 mana, I think we'd be in business, right?
Yeah.
But
it needs like the what was the thing with like Overload 5 that did like 4 to 5 damage to the board, like Elemental Eruption or Elemental Explosion,
Elemental Overload, it might have been
Elemental Devastation, I don't know, whatever.
Elemental Destruction.
Yeah, Elemental Destruction. That sounds epic enough. But yeah, like you need stuff like that, right?
I mean,
to be able to actually like clear, and even that might not be big enough for the boards that we're seeing right now.
Like we've got Meteor Swarm, right? I think my impression has just been that Meteor Swarm is not good enough.
Yeah.
Shaman has functioned more through what it can do with minions, right? And sort of buffing the stats and using the minions to be sort of controlling, or like Nebula because it gives them taunt elusive, right? I don't know if you are doing that stuff with more than minions, well then now you're no longer guaranteeing that Fairy Tale Forest gives you weapons attendant Muradin, right? Like, I feel like the ideal is if you can figure something out where the only battle cries are like Muradin, weapons attendant, and patches. And the more you add, right, the less you guarantee that. And maybe that's fine, right? Maybe you just have to throw in Elise package and Ziliax and some of these other things.
Or you keep the curve really low on minions and then you just play Talon. You probably don't want to do that, but that's
you can play Caricature Artist, I think, right? Because that'll if you're only higher, if you keep the curve lower on minions and your higher minions are weapons attendant and Muradin, Caricature Artist will tutor them.
Yeah.
It's not a great tempo play, right? It's kind of expensive, but I think like that is an option. I was playing around with something that was kind of in the middle, which is maybe you can't really do that, but I had like Flight of the Firehawk with like illusory green wings to try to get us some taunts.
Sure.
There were and then they can also draw the weapons attendant or the other pirates. There's other things, like you have to be running Cookie for that, although if you get the Cookie behind the taunts, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Like
I will say that the problem I have with Caricature Artists is that Muradin already has a beard. And now you're putting a mustache on a beard, and that's just, there's something really wrong about that, and it offends my sensibilities.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know what's going to end up being better, something slower, something faster with Muradin, right? Like maybe you try and go fast, but you just end up getting beaten out by the other fast decks. That's sort of how it went during the Theorycrafting. But again, that doesn't mean you don't run Muradin. All three of the cards he gives you are phenomenal. So
we don't necessarily need to be tutoring this if we're just a shaman deck doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
We can just also sometimes draw this weapon or this 5-mana 6/6 rush Wind Fury.
Yeah, and like I will point out, I ran Farseer Woe in that ill-fated shaman deck that I played, and there was one game where I got 2 Rockbiter weapons from Farseer Woe. So there is a world in which you can kind of make fetch happen here. So
I cannot get over the fact that Farseer Woe is Discover.
Yeah. Which does a couple things, right? Both it gives you choice and it limits it to just shaman spells and not all nature spells.
Yeah, it's just a bananas card. That I mean, I don't think it'll have to be nerfed because it's not like it'll lead to, I don't think, any kind of like degenerate combo. It's still a huge pool being wild shaman nature spells, but it's very powerful, and I'm excited about that. It's not the card I can't wait to play with, though. Although I think if I were to put it anywhere, that is where I would put it.
Yeah, I will say one very funny thing that you will appreciate, because I was very tired when I was playing the shaman deck, and I on more than one occasion like played myself by playing Farseer Woe and then being very confused as to why I could not Static Shock it.
Indeed. Yeah, you do need another target.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Edelweiss, what is the card that you chose for Can't Wait to Play with?
So I picked Azure Queen Syndragosa. I am a mage enjoyer at heart. And I feel it's been a little rough for mage for kind of a while now. I don't know how great the odds are with this deck, but it impressed me in sort of how powerful that alter reality is. Yes, alter time, right? 4 mana arcane spell, discover, again, very good that it says discover. 2 arcane spells from the past, they cost 2 less. And the way I initially thought of Azure Queen Syndragosa was that, okay, all these dragons are not very good when you play them, right? It's a tax, but then eventually you get to play the spell that she makes that
Azure Oathstone.
Yeah, Azure Oathstone resurrects all your dragons, and then that's your combo turn. You OTK them. It is an OTK in a box between Syndragosa, who reduces cost by 2, and Malagos that doubles them. And then, outside of this fabled, but still in mage, you have the spell damage plus 2 dragon. They all cost 5, so it's really slow, but eventually you get to do the thing. And it happened enough times where I was just like, well, I'll throw out this spell damage dragon, and like sometimes it sticks, right? You throw it out like with an arcane spell to help clear board, or like you just throw out Malagos, and because like they all have 7 or 8 health, it's not like they're easy to clear.
Yeah.
And so sometimes
they kind of have soft taunt, yeah.
Yeah, and so sometimes they stick, and sometimes I think what's going to happen quite frequently is people are going to be running this package of, draw a frost spell, reduce its cost, the 3-mana elemental.
Watercolor artist. Yeah.
Yeah, watercolor artist. They're going to get a free deep. It's not deep freeze. It's
buy one,
get one freeze.
Buy one, get one freeze. Yeah. And that pop off of Azure Queen Syndragosa, copy her, and so they each activate each other because you need another dragon for Syndragosa and Malagos to activate. And reducing your arcane spells by 4 is just the most absurd pop off sometimes, right? With Alter Time, because you get to play Alter Time for free. Alter Time reduces the cost by 2, which means you can play arcane spells of up to 6 mana. And there's a lot of great stuff in the past. There's a bunch of transform effects, which is going to be quite relevant against this deck, but against other things. And there's also stuff like Echoes of Medivh, right? Which gives you extra copies to your hand, right? If you need to proof yourself against transform effects, there's it was like the Potion of Illusion, right? The mix rogue mage spell where you get 1 mana 1/1 copies of all your minions.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty
That's
good for this.
really good one, because it's like, okay, now I have 1 mana 1/1 copies of Syndragosa, so I can just save these. And who needs Azure Oathstone? I can just save these to do when I find Malagos. And so I found that through Alter Reality and Glyph and some of these other things, like there are ways that you sort of assemble your win condition outside of having to play Oathstone that make me more optimistic on the deck. I do think its playability is going to come down to how effective it is at defending itself from the aggressive decks.
Yeah. I tried to play a fast, like a let's try to get this done as quickly as possible version, and like, no, it's just not fast enough. You have to be defensive. Like, it's just impossible to be fast enough, I think.
Yeah, and so it's going to depend, like, I think you're definitely doing Arcane Artificer, right? Or is that what it's called? The
1/3. Yeah.
Yeah. The 1/3 that gains you armor for casting spells. I think you're definitely doing that. I don't know if you're doing the Sleet Skater, just because it's dependent on there being big things to freeze. And there aren't always.
Yeah. It's also another 5 cost.
Exactly. This deck is
Yeah.
heavy on the 5 cost. So maybe that, maybe not. Maybe you just run the Protoss stuff for the armor, like.
And that's always the answer, right? At least until rotation,
no.
or you run what is it, hidden whatever that you discover a secret, because there's only like 4 secrets in Mage right now, and you'll get Ice Barrier a lot of the time.
Yeah, that might be a better way to go, just because once you include any Protoss stuff in your deck, then you can discover any of them, and we're not going to be running Colossus. So, and you'd rather your discovers hit buy one, get one freeze or other things. So, yeah, I went in thinking like, okay, this is going to be insanely slow, and you must cast the Oathstone for a win condition, and I left feeling like, oh, Alter Time is actually a quite good card because of how it plays with a pair of Syndragosas. Where it ends up without buy one get one freeze, I don't know, because that feels like a really crucial part of it, and so. But there's so many variables because of rotation, right? That like, who knows what world that would be.
Yeah.
Can't really predict.
There's going to be a lot of things that aren't going to work after rotation that we're going to have to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Wicked.
Well,
what can you not wait to play with? The card that you made me play during theory crafting, and I actually had a good time.
Well, you would think that my answer was going to be Medivh, and I do, but that's not what I want to talk about, because I've already talked about Medivh to death, and like that's the obvious answer. The one that I really do want to play a lot, and I was very sad that I didn't open, is Time Thief Ratham. And I really, really liked what we were able to do in theory crafting with Ratham. And it didn't feel as much like Stormwind Crest Priest as I was expecting it to. It actually felt more proactive than that, because the Rathams are not like blanks on their own. Like, the Rathams are actually doing things like when you drop the, what is it, not Calamitous Ratham, Mind Flayer Ratham. When you drop Mind Flayer Ratham and you have a pair of 7/7s that you might have already buffed up with
Green
like
Ratham?
green Ratham that gives all Rathams in your hand +2/+2, and you get like a pair of 9/9 taunts, that's a real card. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And if you happen to do that with the 3 cost, that discounts the next one by 3, so you got like a turn 4. I mean, that's the dream curve, right? But we saw it happen.
Yeah. And I don't even remember if we even won we won a bunch of games with that. I don't even remember if we won any with the 10 drop.
Maybe there was one with the 10 drop.
Yeah, we did, because I remember noting the animation, but that was unusual, actually. Like, I don't think you're as dead in the water as it might seem if like something gets dirty ratted. Like, yeah, you have a 10 mana 10/10 in your deck. That's not going to do anything. But like, you can still get there. Like, you can just get there with value without necessarily having to, like, the 10/10 is there for like when people are infinitely resurrecting starship pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get through 150 armor, and this gives you a way to do that. But I don't think you need it to win every game with this deck. You can just kind of tempo them to some extent too, and it's fine.
Well, yeah, I think the important thing is that there's basically no reforms that feel bad to play.
Yeah.
Right? Like some of them are, a little trickier to play than others, right? Like the 5 cost in particular, very, very powerful. But for its full effect, you need another reform in play. It's gains you 5 armor on Battlecry. If you have another reform, gains you another 5, right? You can just play that for the 5, right?
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
Getting the extra 5 is very, very nice. The one that is like the worst is Explorer, and it discovers you another reform. So,
right. And it's still like it's like a vanilla minion. Like, it's a little bit worse than a Yeti, but it also draws you a card. It's 4/4 draw card,
and draw you a good card, right? Because all of them are just really, really good.
The 9 mana transform, like that, the whole board into sheep, like that's huge.
I mean, people have to respect that. Yes, it's late in the game, but transforming everything, like I in one of the my Tavern Brawls, because I did open Reform, my opponent played Bonsamdi, and I had an 8/8 out, and I was like, I'm actually gonna destroy my own 8/8 here so that they can't kill off Bonsamdi, because if next turn I would be able to play Archmage, Reform, and transform it, and then their deck is kind of turned off, because I know that like they already showed some blood cards, so I was like, I suspect they are doing the full deal, right? We know Talanji can resurrect it, and then also there's the 4 mana resurrect spell. So and they had a corpse explosion, their own Bonsamdi. So the existence of a full board transform is just something people are going to have to respect. And like you were saying, even if you get one of your reforms dirty ratted or burned, that's a powerful effect. Calamitous Reform deals 6 damage to all minions that aren't reform. That's a powerful board clear.
And
on
it
a
leaves
6
a body
6/6.
behind too, and possibly multiple bodies.
Right. Exactly. So, I was similarly impressed with the deck's ability to just play for tempo and be like, yeah, I mean, ultimately, the opponent might have to worry about you playing the 10/10 that just blows them up, but also they're just getting beat down by reforms and maybe other things.
It felt like, dare I say, a mid-range deck more than a control deck.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to open that can of worms now that I've opened it.
We'll see, right? Once you factor in stuff that's going to be there, right? Ancient of Yore. I guess actually this is part of what contributes, right? Hydraless Cavern with the Tourist still goes in there, and that has continued to be very high tempo when you break that location and get your 8/8 or pair of 8/8 rushes. So, I kind of dig it. And
I think the other thing that it's going to do is it's going to make the infinite armor decks worse, because they are going to have to run 2 copies of Dirty Rat now.
Yes.
And so that's 2 cards that they're losing for this deck, because if you don't have a Dirty Rat against this deck, you auto lose that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the Demon Hunters might still be able to get there, just because part of their deal is they summon the Starship and then cane you.
Yeah, not if you poof them all.
Well, yeah, that's true. The fact that you get a board-wide transform is a big deal. I mean, that won't help you but it will. It won't for sure make the whole problem go away, but it definitely makes it, worse. And as you say, they'll still have to have the dirty rats. Yeah, I am tentatively optimistic on this one. Yeah. And I think even though it spooked me a little bit last time that it says play not summon, yeah, I've come around a little bit based on how many games I won without even playing Time Thief Reform.
They might also just miss sometimes, right? Like,
we won and lost games against Time Thief Reform without Time Thief Reform actually being played.
Yeah.
So, all right. We have a bunch of other cards to go through a little more quickly, but I think it's worth spending the times on the cards we can't wait to play with. Yeah. But Wicked, what is the card that you are scared of?
So, this might be unfounded anxiety. But both playing with and against Flux Revenant, it seems like if that deck is viable, this is going to be the reason for it. So Flux Revenant is the Shaman card. It's 2 mana 1/4 with Taunt. Whenever you would damage this with a nature spell, it gets +2/+1 instead. This gets real big real fast in a deck that wants it to. And I mean, just a Time Quake into a Static Shock makes this, what is it, a 5/6 on turn 3, which is not a turn 4 7/7, but it's darn close. And like I was playing the Shard Lock today, and I just got tempoed out by one of these. They just played it on 2. I couldn't answer it because I mean 4 health on turn 2 is also kind of hard to deal with. Like, I had a Flame Imp and I bumped into it, and then the Flame Imp died, and then it just kept getting bigger, and I just couldn't answer it, and I just died to it. So again, I don't know if that deck is good enough, but I think this card has potential to run away with the game if it's unchecked. And if it's going to be a deck, I think this will have a big plurt to play in it.
Yeah.
The Stormrook also, I think, is pretty good, having played some with this package. The Stormrook is the 5/5 that summons 5-drops. But it is a little bit in tension in that, like, the same cards turn on both of them. But I think if you have the early Flux Revenant, you just go for that. And then if you don't, then you save it for the Stormrook. But the only problem that I had, and part of it was solved by just adding more draw to the list that I had, was if they do clear your Flux Revenant, then your hand is turned off, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you can use them without that effect, but they're way less impactful.
I wonder if you run Acolyte of Pain, because
it's not a crazy idea, honestly.
Like, it's a little weird because it's in tension in terms of you adding another card that wants to see these nature spells, but it provides a sort of secondary thing of like, okay, they killed the Flux Revenant, at least I can fall back on Acolyte of Pain, and it'll,
Find me
replenish.
Yeah.
Right, it'll get me more of these nature spells. And the Flux Revenant reminds me of my favorite card from Magic the Gathering, Kiln Fiend, which was a 2 mana card, 1 colorless, 1 red for a 1/2 that said whenever you cast a spell, gain +3/+0. And then, it's just like, if they couldn't deal with it,
yeah,
I basically killed people turn 3, right? Or got them low enough that they got burned out on turn 4. And I think that Flux Revenant is going to be in that vein, especially if you're running like Slither Spear, right? It's like, you do the turn 1 Slither Spear. It's like, oh, did you kill it? Did you not kill it? Right? It's like, turn 2 Flux Revenant, ping it, hit them for 3, and now you've got a 3/5. The fact that Flux Revenant does not take the damage, I think is huge.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
That just went over my head when I read the card. I was like, oh, okay, so like it stays at the same health because, it gets +1 health and you're dealing a damage to it, and it's like, oh, no, it prevents the damage.
It can get very big. So I'm definitely going to try to see how we're making this work. And if you get that and then you have like a Slither behind it, it just needs to make sure it has a good enough draw engine. So I actually don't hate the Acolyte of Pain idea at all. At least it's something to try. Yeah. And I think it could be good. And that was something I was thinking about putting on card I want to play with. And then I saw that you had it already in the list.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing for Acolyte also is you're still running Thunderquake, which you can have both of them on the board, or that in a Stormrook, and then hit both of them at the same time. And like sometimes like Lightning Rod, you just need to remove something. You need to have a minion on board to use it. That's as good as anything, even if it's not getting a buff, right?
Yeah, I think it's a great target for Lightning Rod.
Lightning Rod being the 1-mana spell that says deal 2 damage to a friendly minion to deal 4 damage to a random enemy minion. So.
Yeah, needing to have something on board for that is actually quite relevant in the version I was playing. So you could also, I suppose, do something with Cinders for that, because then you get the death rattle off for the Sizzling Cinder. But at any rate, Eloise, what is the card that you are scared of?
We don't have to spend any time on this one. It's Lady Azara, and no one was surprised, because it had to be a druid card, and I could have picked Krona, but Azara gives you a location that can't be as a minion. I think you just immediately delete Elise and all the things that you put in Aulonius Druid for Elise. Maybe you keep Ziliax, just because getting a pair of 6/10 Ziliax is still really good. But even more so when you have a location that will summon another copy, or maybe even summon a copy with doubled stats if you've powered it up with a Azara. So it again, Aulonius Druid is just going to be this deck where it's like, are the aggro decks good enough? Yes, well then you won't see it as much. Are they not? Then it's going to murder things, because the damage cap is quite high. And so as long as there's slower stuff around, Aulonius Druid will be there to try and prey on it, as long as there's not a huge amount of aggro holding it down. And so giving them a guaranteed copy a minion, I think, just sort of secures Aulonius's position in a way that, it already was on the uptick because of the possibility of copying a minion from Elise.
So I will say that there is one thing that will always keep Aulonius Druid down, and that is the requirement to do math while you're playing it.
Well, you don't need to do as much math when your damage output is just astronomical. So
yeah, that is true. Well, see, this is just so for anyone who doesn't like OTK decks, that is why you should value aggro decks. We're good for the ecosystem, like predators.
That's what I used to say about Control, and nobody believed me. So, I don't think anyone's going to believe you for that either.
They're also getting a, 2-mana spell that is deal 3. It can go face, and it gains them how much
5
armor?
5 armor for some reason.
If they've played a minion, which, they will have played an Ancient of Yore. So... yeah, it makes me nervous.
Yeah. Hey, you get 5 armor if you've played Hearthstone today. Like, congratulations.
It's just the other thing is, like, if you remove Elise, if you remove Incendius, then you remove some of the misses from Story of Barnabas. Right? Azara is still a 5/5, and so even though you lose the potential powerful location there, like you are more likely to get that 5 armor from Story of Barnabas, and it just feels like a natural fit. Very curious about your pick, though, Megesa, because I would not expect this to be something that you're scared of.
Well, I also want to give it a try, but I picked Logosh / I added / warrior in general. Mostly in the sort of quest warrior type shell. Now, something feeling really good in the pre-release brawl is not quite the same as something feeling really good in the actual meta, but I was surprised by how good Logosh himself felt as a card. It definitely helped to have 3 of them instead of 2, but if you like could like even just 2 of them sometimes, like if you play Logash himself out first, so he's the Fabled 4 warrior, 7 mana, 7/7 rush, death rattle, summon a blood fighter from your hand. It gains +5/+5 and attacks a random enemy. So you get like a 12/12 elusive that hits their face suddenly for 12 after they killed your 7/7. And then sometimes if they kill that, then there's an even worse problem. So it's was better than I thought. And then they just got like the 10 man, the 1 mana 10 armor is kind of nuts. The draw spell for Glory is kind of nuts. Precursory Strike is very flexible. That's the 2 mana deal 3, and if you have a minion that costs 5 or more, then you draw it. So I was like, this seems like a controlling warrior that's poised to be pretty good. I will give it a try to play it as well. But it did seem like something that could potentially be good against stuff that I like to play. So that's why I put it as a card you are scared of. Because just like that problem of, do I kill the blood fighter and then I might get something worse out? Or do I not kill the blood fighter and I get hit for 7 every turn until they kill it anyway? Like I think you have to kill it to call their bluff, right? But like,
or you just turn into a sheep and then you're fine.
Yeah, well, if you can't do that.
If you can't do that because you're playing aggro.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with it. It adds an element to even a more controlling deck of like, I mean, you might just die, right? Like, because if this hits you for 7 and then I can kill it off myself and that hits you for 12 or like 14 in the cases where the thing had +2/+2 from the Rewind Dragon. But a situation where I think you may like Logash is in Rage Warrior, where all you have for like minions that cost 5 or more is Heir of Hereafter, Logash, the 3 blood fighters, and Grummash. And so you've got a really nicely tailored precursory strike pool. You've got a ton of draw for Glory and Acolyte of Pain stuff. And so, as you say, all you really need is 2 of them. Particularly Logash himself is the nice one to have. He's the one that ends games. But yeah, I think it could be sort of an impressive turn 7 for an enraged deck.
I definitely want to try the enraged deck, and I hadn't quite thought of the way that you just put it together, but I am a fan of Enrage, and it was something that I thought about for a card you want to play with. So, yeah. I will use Logash for good, while others...
We could argue whether that's good or evil, but that's a different podcast, I think.
They had to put wolves back in Yellowstone and Yosemite, or one of those two, because the deer population was getting out of control. So they needed something to deal with it. And it was taking away all the grass. Yeah. Anyway. Card you want to be good but isn't. I also have a surprising choice here.
Truly.
I don't think this card is bad, but I think it is worse than we thought.
I buy that, I guess.
And it is Devious Coyote. Devious Coyote is the 5 mana 5/3 beast neutral that has stealth and costs 1 less for each time the enemy hero took damage this turn. In the situations where it works, it really works.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have like the Shreds of Time deck with like Tachyon Barrage, you get this out on 2, obviously awesome. But it was a lot more awkward to get down than I thought. And you get it down when you already have a big board and they already want to AoE you. And then it only has 3 health. So it's decently easy to get rid of with an AoE. So I don't think it just like goes in every aggro deck. I think it goes in aggro decks that have like Jungle Gym or like ways to make it a little bit less awkward to put down if you're not already because you need to already have a good position on the board.
I was going to ask, is it too much to call it win more? Because it's really only good if you're already ahead, right? If you're able to get either a Tachyon Barrage to go all face, or you're able to get a wide board hitting your opponent without summoning sickness, right? Then the exception might be like Demon Hunter with the pirate location.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the exception, because then those can all come in and have charge. But for the most part, like if you get a board to stick, or you have a clear enough board on the other side that you're able to get something like a Tachyon Barrage to hit, do you need Devious Coyote at that point? I don't know if you do.
I think sort of what you were saying, Megasa, that like it is less of an auto aggro include and more of a, do I have a way of doing a bunch of ticks of damage? Because this is harder to make free than we sort of thought, right? Like,
and it mattered more to have it free than I thought I would. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I felt worse about playing it for 3 than I thought I would.
Like
5 is a lot.
Tachyon Barrage on 2 into Coyote is, and especially if you have 2 of them, obviously, that is always going to be insane, right? Because very likely you have burned your opponent for 11 from those 2 cards. But and then similarly, I think with the Beast Hunter, between like the beasts on board that you need to activate it and the location, right, shooting them in the face, getting it to 0, and of course you've got Beast Synergy, Kindred Synergy, whatever. Something aggressive with the Demon Hunter location, okay, similarly. But if you're sort of doing a more, I just put a bunch of minions on the board and you need to do 5 minion hits, it seems like more of an ask than we expected, and playing it for 2 doesn't feel great.
Yeah, you need to be doing damage in pings in order for this to work. I mean, even like Imbue Mage, if it ever became a thing again, could maybe use something like this. But you have to be doing damage as pings, not in chunks, in order to really make use of this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an example of a card where often when a card, sometimes when a card looks insane, the card is insane. But sometimes when a card looks insane, they playtested it and it's not as insane as it seems. So, and maybe I'll be wrong again.
I guess my contention though with this is, I understand your point, but I think that is a reason to put it in overrated, right? In card you think is over or underrated, and put it as the overrated. Rather than want to be good but isn't.
Yeah.
I think what I meant was I want this card to be better than it is. So I did slightly stretch the assignment, but I had an easier time thinking of another thing for card is over underrated than I did another thing for card you want to be good but isn't. So there we go. I
kind of did the same thing with mine, if it makes you feel better. So
all right. But Edel, you actually did follow the assignment. So what did you pick for card you want to be good but isn't?
I picked Garona Half-Orcan because I don't think her battle cry is relevant. Like, she feels like almost as dead of a card as King Lane is for the opponent. And it's so...
Make me feel real good about this signature that I opened.
I mean, look, she may still see play, because the fact that King Lane goes in the opponent's deck means you have a 29-card deck. How good is that for Hearthstone? I don't know, but it increases your probabilities. Maybe a little bit of a tech card, because she gives you Kingslayers, which is a fiery war axe, right? That draws both you and your opponent a legendary. Does it say legendary minion specifically?
It says legendary card.
Legendary card. Yeah. See, I feel like it could say minion, but at any rate, so, and I think of that in terms of, like, I don't know, maybe sometimes you can burn the opponents. But it is consistency, being able to draw your legendary minions. it just sort of feels like the primary gains are that you are giving your opponent a card that they cannot rid themselves of, because if you play King Lane, it immediately shuffles in, and you know they do get to draw a card, but it's 3 mana and they don't even get the 3/3. But not once did I see someone land Corona. Like I didn't do it. My opponents didn't do it. I think it's just generally people have enough legendaries that it's not like Kingslayer is getting them King Lane with any kind of consistency. And you may well be getting them one of their best cards, because you know that's usually what we run in our legendaries.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is when Garona becomes meta, it's pay to win, because the more legendaries you have, the less likely Garona is going to get you.
Yeah, I don't know. And the other piece of it, right, is like it doesn't win you the game. It just halves their life total. You can't Shadow Step her to do it again. Any damage you've done to that point makes the battle cry worse. I think, right? Like I don't think you're having.
Yeah, no, it's not cutting their it's not cutting their max life in half. It's just cutting their health total in half. Now, if you're playing against a Death Knight, maybe that's worth, right? If you're getting 40 damage on them because they've been playing playing blood cards and leeches and gaining a whole bunch of max life, maybe that's worth. But yeah, otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah,
We're playing hide and go seek in our Hearthstone game.
It's rough, and like I really wish that it were good, because I like this character. Yeah, I don't see it unless it is literally just I will put some questionable cards in my deck so that my deck is 29 cards, because Kingslayer's drawing me legendaries is just that good, right? Like, because I don't care even if you get your stuff, I'm just trying to combo. Like, maybe this goes in the Deos deck.
But it's also taking up 2 good card slots in that 29 card deck with junk. And I don't know. Right. I don't know where the math ends up on that. Right.
Exactly.
I don't know if
that's
if -1 card slot but +2 bad cards equals fun. I don't know if that's how the equation works.
I'm fairly certain she does not turn orange if Lane is in the opponent's hand.
I would hope not, because that would be kind of dumb.
It feels like the only way she would be useful, but yeah, it would defeat the purpose of how the card is. Yeah.
Well, Wicked, what is the card that you want to be good but isn't?
Well, so like I said, I'm kind of doing the same thing you are, that maybe it's like overrated, but Broxigar is mine. And the reason for that is that I have played against a bunch of Demon Hunters. I have seen a lot of Portals played. I have not seen a single 12/12 come out. And if that's not happening all that often, then that seems like a lot of work and a lot of damage you're taking to not get a payoff out of it. And I do wonder, and maybe this is a function of the pre-release decks, but even in Theorycrafting, we saw a lot of that, and I cannot remember ever seeing Broxigar coming down.
So, let me tell you, that's because people were running Broxigar in the Spell Demon Hunter. And I don't think that's where you run Broxigar. I think the Spell Demon Hunter doesn't have it. And I think if you're running Broxigar, that is the deck. It is Turbo Draw Broxigar. You have double Pandar and Brewmaster. Maybe a single copy of, Solitude, where like once your deck is empty, once you've got all your minions in hand, you reduce them all by 2 mana. And so you've got Broxigar and Kane and Pandas, and you just OTK them that way. Maybe you've done extra damage with like Aeon Blast or Chaos Strikes or other things, attack gaining things in the earlier game. And it's more about being a turbo draw deck than than a spells deck.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. But yeah, it's still, you still have to do all the things. So I don't know if that's that hard, but
I mean, the
we'll
fact
see.
that there's 0 mana means that, like, it's not hard to weave in. And you do draw a card when the thing dies. The weapon that comes with Broxigar, right, if you clear minions, draws you a portal, right? So I think it's sort of a function of, like, what is the max life total that needs to be dealt with? Is it something that a combo such as that can handle? If yes, alongside strong enough card draw, then I think there may be, like, some kind of Broxigar OTK deck to be had.
But I mean, we're talking 36 damage, right? Like, that's probably what you're getting at if you're running 2 pandas.
Yeah, but like,
if we're not running
you've
armor,
got other chip damage.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess it's a matter of how effective that other chip damage is and how many of the slots you need to dedicate to turbo drawing through your deck.
Well, I guess no, you wouldn't do this. I was going to say, hilariously, it would work in a, like, the recruit the big stuff deck, right? Because it's not it's not in your deck. But then you can't run the pandas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the potential is there. It's just completely divorced from the Spell Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have now gotten to the one that I probably should have put Devious Coyote in. Card that you think is over or underrated. So, Wicked, I kind of agree with you on this one. What is the card that you think is underrated?
So, Manifested Timeways is a 4-mana 3/3 elemental for Paladin. It says, Battlecry, if you control an aura, deal 3 damage to all enemies. And this has felt amazing every time that I've played it. This is Duskbreaker. Like, Duskbreaker was a real card for a long time. And you do have to control an aura. That is not a hard ask in the deck because you're going to draw some, right? Like, you want Gelbin to get 5 auras out of the deck, but you're going to draw, like, a Resistance Aura, or Crusader's Aura, or a Life-Saving Aura, or something that you're going to have out. And there were times that I, like, especially when I started playing the deck, I kind of forgot about it until I had Gelbin out. And then I just kind of looked down like, oh, what's that that's yellow glowing in my hand? Oh, I get Duskbreaker now. That seems good. Oh, and one-sided Duskbreaker, by the way, because Duskbreaker hit your stuff too.
Oh, also, it goes face.
Yeah, and it goes face.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has never not felt good. And I mean, I'm already running Equality in that deck. I was running Consecration. And, like, I was surprised at how much the Aura deck turned into a burn deck in the endgame. I mean, maybe this is just the way I had it built, but I was running these, I was running Consecrations, I was running Hammers of Wrath, and, with the Crusader Aura that's in there anyway. So, like, I'd muster for battle just to get a bunch of things down and just, like, hit them for a few, and then I had finishing damage. And sometimes this is part of it, and it's always felt good every time that I play it. The only time it didn't feel good is when I didn't have an aura available, but, like, even the new one that summons a 3/5 taunt, like, you just play that on 5 and then you just have taunts for days, and then, oh, by the way, I get to clear up your board and hit you in the face.
Yeah, and you couldn't do this in the pre-release brawl, but having cardboard, right, for those extra turns.
Yeah, the cardboard golem 4/4, 4-mana 4/4 that increases the duration of all the auras in play in your hand and in your deck would help a lot. One thing that we ran afoul of in the coaching that I did with this was we played Resistance Aura on 2, and then it was gone by the time we wanted to Manifested Timeways. You do have to pay a little bit of attention, but it felt like a good card once we were wise to that, right? And there's a lot of auras, and you do want to just be playing some of them. Like, I'm more bullish on just having Trinket Artist in this deck now than I was before, because, like, Gelbin doesn't need to draw every single aura to be good.
If he hits
you have
3,
Ursine Maul to get him early.
If he hits 3 auras, you're fine, and 2 of them have tradable.
And we have Ursine Maul when we're out of the brawl to, like, make sure we draw Gelbin. Like, Gelbin seems like he could be nuts. I definitely hope that there's something with this Paladin deck. I think that there probably will be. And I think we'll be running Manifested Timeways most likely.
And Ursine Maul also, after you draw Gelbin, can also draw Anachronos, which sets up Gelbin really, really nicely.
Or Deos will
Or Deus.
make
Yeah.
your auras trigger twice because they are an end of turn effect, which is not a thing I had thought of.
Yeah. I mean, it feels overwhelming when you have Gelbin going and it's summoning a 6-drop and a 3/5 taunt and healing you and giving
And
plus
giving
4/+4.
1+4/+4 and divine shield, and it's
Yeah.
brutal.
Like almost anti-control, right? Because how many times, depending on how the game has gone that far and how soon this is happening, but like if you double coin to Gelbin on 6, like it's over unless they are able to actually kill the paladin.
We'll have metal detector in the standard version too, which we don't have in the brawl either. So that also is going to help get that down faster. Like that's the one thing, is that I'm always playing it on 8 right now because I don't have any way to cheat that out. But metal detector is going to be an option when this goes into standard. I don't know if this is going to be a deck, but it sure feels like it has a fighter's chance to be, a puncher's chance to be.
Yeah, I think this is another one where it's like, if this does not get aggroed down, it is going to be a part of the meta because it is just so insanely powerful and potentially so consistent. Like, I see a world where Gelbin is your only 8-drop and you're running double Ursine Maul and 1 to 2 copies of the Grill Master.
Mm.
Right?
That's true, there's that too.
Because that Death Rattle also draws your highest, and the whole deck is Gelbin. So like, if you do that, like, it might be worth running just the full 4 copies alongside O Manager and the Coin Weapon. I think turns 6 to turn
you have
6
to run Lanessa, but it's also really good with some of those things too.
Yeah, right. Like, just turn 6 to 8 Gelbin very, very consistently, and then sometimes you have Lanessa plus Resistance Aura or something else. I don't know what. I was not interested in the life-saving aura, but maybe it does make the cut just because you have to run Lanessa anyway. I think that deck has a lot of potential. That, I don't know, shined a little bit during the pre-release, but not maybe as much as expected.
Yeah. I mean, I know that when I posted it in our Discord, there were a bunch of people who were like, "Oh, I hadn't even thought of playing that after I got my 6-win run." And that was my deck of last resort, basically, given my pack opening. So I'm like, okay, I'll just try it, see how it goes, and it felt a lot better than I expected it to.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Well, Edel, what is the card that you think is over or underrated?
I forgot to write it, but under. It's always easier, I feel like, to say under, but because I'm just too tuned out of what people are hyped about.
We can probably just change that to underrated at this point, because I can't remember the last time that we've done an overrated, any of us.
It does happen. We may as well leave the option. But Hourglass Attendant is a 4-mana 2/4 Divine Shield that at the end of your turn, give minions in your hand +1/+1. And this is a neutral. So it is just an additional tool for any of the hand buff classes. I know that in the case of Hunter, you do try and have a narrow pool because of bird watching, but like, just the fact that anyone can throw this in and it is not embarrassing at face value, right? A 4-mana 2/4 Divine Shield, like, that sometimes doesn't get cleared in certain matchups, right? A slower deck is going to be annoyed trying to remove this. If you have any additional hand buff things, this may be bigger, and hand buff decks love Divine Shields. So, just the ability to, like, I mean, gosh, maybe you run this in Rogue, which doesn't normally have access to hand buff, but you get to do it with the thing that combos to summon a copy of the Stealth, right? Or the Rush dude, right? It just strikes me as the kind of neutral that flies under the radar because it's a neutral and is, like, not super flashy, but giving everyone access to an end of turn hand buff, right? It must be cleared, or the problem gets worse. I think is a big deal.
And if it sticks, you play Deos.
Sure. Yeah.
I think this reminds me a little bit. In Theorycrafting, we got like totally soloed by a Lost City card called Marshland Thresher, which is a 3-mana 3/3 beast. After you cast a spell, gain Divine Shield.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't clear
I
it
forgot
when we
about
could
that.
have.
Yeah.
And it just like soloed us because then we just couldn't clear it after. I was like, it might actually work in the self-damage shaman because we have a lot of spells. And you could also like worst case ping this and it won't die because it has Divine Shield. I don't know if we're doing that, but like sometimes you do get neutrals that they don't obviously fit an archetype, so people kind of just don't think of them when making a deck. And sometimes they get overlooked and then only show up much later, or kind of sometimes just like sort of never really get recognized. So
The other thing is like we still have Painter's Virtue. The thing that rotated from hand buff paladin was the
instrument tech.
Yeah, the one that found the weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, instrument tech for sure. That was probably the biggest deal. But there was also the forge card that gave +1/+1 or +2/+2 to your hand if you forged it.
Oh yeah.
And I certainly think this slots in well for that. And you do still have Grime Street Outfitter. Of course, there's still Overlord Runthak in neutral F5 cost. It just feels like there may be an opportunity there to like run that back, and people won't be expecting it. I'm sure it won't be super popular. And then of course, yeah, there if people can figure out warrior things or hunter things, maybe the hunter shifts to not be as like, oh, we just tunnel vision on a pair of minions or whatever. I don't know, but and yeah, Rogue has 2 different minions that summon a copy of himself, and maybe they benefit from something like this.
They sure do.
Yep. All right. Well, we kind of already talked about this, so I'll go briefly on a card that I think is underrated is Chronogar / the Shreds of Time in general. I just think that aggro decks are harder to build sometimes than people think, and we want to be good at doing kind of a dragon direction for this. We'll have to see whether it's too much self-damage, but I think like adding in all the other pain cards is too much self-damage, and so maybe we just have a little bit of the health recovery from earlier sets and like dragon stuff from earlier sets and swarminess. Chronogar, as a reminder, is the 6-mana 6/7 dragon with Battlecry. You draw your 2 highest cost cards, your opponent draws your 2 lowest cost cards. We also did see, so we didn't know when we recorded last week whether the Shreds would draw cards when they were drawn by something like Chronogar. They do, both for you and for your opponent, if I remember correctly from Theorycrafting.
Right. So you want to kill them because otherwise you're giving them a lot of fuel. I mean, you could overdraw them, but yeah.
You're also giving yourself fuel, to be fair. But
I guess if they're I guess it's only if they have 10 cards in hand that you would burn the shards. If they have 9 in hand, then they would draw. Well, no, it's gonna would it burn the second shard if they had 9 cards in hand?
Yes.
So that's also worth considering.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a thing that you play when it's like, I'm gonna deal the opponent 6, and I don't super care about the 2 cards that they're gonna get because my highest cost cards are Doom cards or something, right?
No, I'm just saying you have to pay attention to their hand size because you might not be dealing 6 if you're not careful.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that makes Chronogar specifically worse, but it makes the other shreds better because you're drawing a card when you draw the shred, which is kind of nuts. So
when you draw a shred, not when you cast a shred.
When you play like the 4-mana 7/7
Fate Breaker. It's a 7/7 after the battle cry. It says cast a shred at time from your deck.
Right. In that case, you don't draw. You just take 3.
Yeah.
It's a cost. Same for the 5/5. I think you run Cursed Catacombs and don't care if they sometimes get Cursed Catacombs. Right?
Yeah, I guess the problem I was having with Cursed Catacombs is sometimes you just like the average mana value is a lot higher than in the quest log. And so
I think it shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's
well,
the
I mean,
thing.
because
I
you're
don't
running,
think
you're
this is
running the
Pain Warlock.
Well, you're running the 4/4s and the 5/5s, right? Like you're running
Right.
these two guys. You're running Chronogore. So, yeah, you have to be a little bit more careful than you are in Quest Warlock as to when you deploy Cursed Catacombs, because you could end up just doing nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. You just don't play it on 3. That's fine, or 2.
Yeah,
I guess I would say running Cursed Catacombs is not a reason to not run this.
yes, agreed.
Because, okay, sometimes you give them a Cursed Catacombs. You know, you're probably shuffling a lot of stuff that they still take 1 to 2 of these. And I think that the potential upside of, like, I draw my 2 highest, which are the 5/5 Copier or Doomguard. And yeah, they take either shards or catacombs. I think that's worth it. But I do think you try and keep a pretty slimmed down list, right? Like, this is your most expensive card. After it are the 5 drops and
the 4 drops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your curve should probably be topping out at 3, except for the things that say cast a Shredder of Time from your deck or draw your highest cost cards.
Mm-hmm.
And also because you want to be drawing 2 of the rushes that copy each other when you're playing Chronogore. Like, you want to know what you're getting out of it for the most part.
Yeah, I think Doomguard is still going to be worth, but
Probably.
At least 1.
Yeah, you could just run not Demonic Tutor. That's the wrong game. The Demonic Studies to get Doomguards.
It's not great odds, but anyway.
You can also run the like, maybe we do pylon ticking if we're doing a swarm package for the rest of it. Maybe just guaranteeing that you get your pylon ticking that you can then just slam down if you have a board. Like, you play Chronogore when you have a board, and then that's your finishing damage.
Or you play
I don't know.
Or you play the one that just doubles its power and hits you in the face, because who cares if it's going to hit you in the face? You're already taking damage.
Yeah, we'll see.
So anyway, I'm just saying I don't think that we've worked out the build for this yet, and so it's too early to say, well, it didn't show as well in Theorycrafting. All right, for card we just wanted to talk about, I had like just a super quick note basically that I wanted to say about Husk Eternal Reaper. Which is, so Husk Eternal Reaper, as a reminder, is the 4-mana 5/3 undead with Battlecry. Give your hero Death Rattle speed, spend up to 20 corpses to resurrect with that much health. For Death Knight, no runes. What we didn't realize when we were originally talking about this card is that sets your max health to however many corpses you had when you died. So all of those vampiric bloods, you can't just like heal that back up. You have to like re-up your max health or get a bunch of armor as soon as possible after playing this. And it is more important to really have those corpses to actually like try to be closer to 20, which makes it contrast more with other cards that also spend corpses. So all in all, to say, I am less scared of this card.
I'm sure it will still show up and annoy you sometimes.
Yes.
I'm sure.
But it definitely makes the way that you have to build with it quite different. Yeah, it'll be good, but doesn't just slot into anything, because if you are specifically running infinite corpse spenders like Foam Render or Corpsicle, it's just much less useful.
Yeah. If you're thinking about running this in a deck with Stitch Giant, don't. Basically.
Yeah.
Yep. So that changes the calculus on it. All right. So that's all I had to say, but I thought it was worth a note. Edelweiss, what did you pick for card you just wanted to talk about?
So I picked Mend the Timeline, which is I debated putting in for underrated, but I don't quite know if this will see play, but I do feel like it's been passed over a little bit. It's a 3-cost holy spell for Paladin that says, like, you get 2 random holy spells and restore life equal to their mana cost. That's their combined mana cost. and it has rewind. So, maybe there's just not a home for it, but it is potentially quite a lot of life gain, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's probably not. There's a lot of 1 and 2 cost holy spells. Like, a lot.
for
I
now.
would say, for now, but I would say that your average healing, this is probably heal 5 on average.
But a lot of the cheaper holy spells also gain you life.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm sort of imagining it, right? Is like, if you are trying to make a controlling paladin, whether that can exist or not, I don't know. But it just struck me that, like, yeah, you could throw this in there, and like, you have high roll potential for the life gain when you cast it, and then also, even if you miss, there's a decent number of cheap holy spells that still heal you.
Not as many as you would think. I'm looking at them now because it's just paladin, and I mean, there's flash of light. There's I guess holy glow sticks.
Mm-hmm.
There's flash heal. Having to go for a while. Holy Nova and Greater Healing Potion. That's it. And there's 38 holy spells in standard.
I mean, like, the drink gives you Divine Shield. There's the new.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to consider that healing, then yeah.
Priest
I mean,
one that gives you Divine Shield.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely utility there, and like holy spells are not bad. Like I'm going to be the last one to say that holy spells are bad, but there are a lot of things like Dragon Scale Armaments, life saving aura, Aegis of Light type of things. I mean, you can get an equality. I mean, there are a few that Paladin has more of the expensive ones than Priest does. Priest tops out at 4 except for Light Bomb. Paladin is a couple of 7 cost spells. So
It's also
I guess what struck me is that Aura Paladin may have a survivability issue, and it is something that, like, maybe you could run in there, and all the auras are holy. So it's
right.
like a way you can potentially generate more auras.
Yeah.
I just did a count, so that it looks like there's 6 auras in standard, not counting the ones from the Fable, because you wouldn't be able to get one of those. And so that's 16% of the pool is auras. So that's like a pretty decent chance out of 2 rolls to get one.
Yeah.
Especially if you rewind it. But like, you're not necessarily doing this because you need an aura. It's just like, oh, you might also get an aura. So
yeah, I guess it just struck me that, like, there's not many bad hits.
Yeah.
Maybe the Librams would be like the bad hits. And the draw 2 minions is not a terrible
hit.
Even the
Librams, like, you want to discount them, but they're not. You don't have to, right?
And they do heal you a little more because they're a little more expensive because they're expecting a discount. So like, maybe it's fine if you get the 6 mana one because it healed you 6.
Yeah, like Neon Innovation. I don't know if we care about. That's the one that's the new one that's like discover a paladin mech from the past, give it +5/+5. But yeah, like even like Silvermoon Brochure is probably, or Purifying Power is probably one of the worst ones in Priest. But like Silvermoon Brochure is fine. It silences and shrinks an opposing minion if you wait a turn. You have a fair amount of like removal spells, right? Like Divine Star, Hammer of Wrath, Holy Nova. So Power Spike, even it's expensive, but it also is going to heal you for 6, so it's fine. Consecration, obviously. So yeah, I mean, there are worse things to get than 2 random holy spells, and you get 2 shots at it because of the rewind.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about for me, right? Is that, like, if it'll be hard to get 2 1s into 2 1s, Yeah. And like, it is value on top of some healing, and whatever the cards do, right? Like a decent number of them draw cards, a decent number of them, deal damage. And then, yeah, there's the highlight of like you could get extra copies of auras, whether you need that, maybe not. Yeah, I do think probably the Librams are sort of the low roll, but yeah, it again probably won't see play, but I think it's something that's like worth experimenting with.
Yeah, or you just have things that say discover spell, and that's something you'll take sometimes, and you'll be fine with it.
All right, well, last but not least, before this episode ceases, what is your card, Wicked?
We're not getting out of here without me talking about a priest card. So, and this one has my 3 favorite words on it. Cease to exist has my favorite phrase in all of Hearthstone: silence and destroy. So it's a 3-mana spell with rewind, silence, and destroy a random enemy minion. Chef's kiss, no notes. Very excited to. Been missing this effect in priest specifically. Like, I like cards like this in general that give a class some identity, give you a reason to want to play a particular class, and a reason that you would want to play priest is being able to have good removal like this, even if it's not targeted. It's still being able to remove a minion without triggering a death rattle is a very relevant thing to do in 2025 Hearthstone, and we don't have enough ways to do it, and I'm glad they printed it.
Yep.
That's all. It's very simple.
That's all.
It's a simple card. I am a simple man with simple tastes. I like to silence things and I like to destroy them, preferably at the same time.
Fair enough. Yeah, and you've been complaining at the lack of silence.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is too noisy of a game, and some things need to shut up, especially the rogues.
I don't think rogues even have the particularly like this has to be silenced things.
Just out of principle. Just generally out of principle. They emote still, and that's enough.
Well, it's a long one, but yeah, I feel like superlatives always goes long. So we have many folks we'd like to thank. Check out our thanks section on the website at Concede.com, where you can also find our contact info, our show notes, and our Patreon information. You can monetarily support our show at patreon.com/CoinConcede. Write into our email at coinconcede@gmail.com. Follow us on Blue Sky at CoinConcede. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch at twitch.coinconcede.com. Join our community chats in our Discord at discord.coinconcede.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@CoinConcede. And if you would like some CC swag, head on over to our shop at shop.coinconcede.com soon. I'm setting a deadline for myself of like Thanksgiving for this.
Of what year?
This year. Gosh darn it.
I feel like that's an important clarifying question.
But yeah, Coin Concedes.
Well, I'm going to coin concede to my oldest daughter because she had her first college play over this past weekend, and they did Our Town, and she had multiple lines and multiple roles that she was playing because it was a smaller cast than she's used to in high school, and she did a great job. So, and now she can actually like rest and maybe go to like the card shows at the LGS in town to that she couldn't go to because she was stuck at rehearsal. So not stuck, but she was committed to rehearsal, but she really worked hard and they did a really good job with it. So I'm proud of her.
Yeah. Well, thank you to Runic Drip and NYKiwi. Runic Drip for the Paladin deck and NYKiwi for playing the Paladin deck with me. That was really fun in the pre-release brawl. Also, thank you to everyone who's been joining us for Theorycrafting and for our show today, and just in our Discord, on our Patreon. It's just really nice to be able to see you guys and have this community, and we really appreciate the support from everyone. So, yeah.
Oh, I should also add a coin concede to you, Magesa, for going above and beyond and running the stream for Theorycrafting, despite multiple technical snafus and not knowing until the day before that it was only available on PC and not on Mac, and having to go set up all the entire setup a second time after we'd set it up earlier in the week. And so, but you got everything running and it was as smooth as it could have been. So I know that was not an easy thing and required a lot of last minute finagling on your part. So I appreciate you being able to do that. So I could, because I had to go to my daughter's, my younger daughter was getting inducted into the Computer Science Honor Society. And if I knew it was going to be that short of a ceremony, I might have just said we should start the stream a half hour or an hour later. But, I'm used to school ceremonies taking like 2 hours for no good reason. So
yeah, that is the truth. And thank you as well, Concede, for helping me set up the stream, which was absolutely necessary, even though I then had to set it up again. I was just like, okay, so what did Wicked tell me to do? Okay, we're going to do this part. And then helping me problem solve things midstream when it turned out that we'd forgotten to think about the resolution of the exporting. And of course, my husband, also Concede to him for letting me use his computer at work for this. But it turns out his 4K monitor was therefore causing everything to go out 4K, and like you couldn't set it to a lower resolution, which of course was crazy. So we fixed that. Thank you also to the person in chat who told us that.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot to write the names down, but a couple of people who I faced in the Tavern Brawl added me and were like, "Oh, are you the Edelweiss from podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." As we always say, thanks for the support. It's really nice to hear. I feel like there's always that tension of like, and at this point, I generally accept, right? Because it's usually positive and not negative. But there's always the sort of apprehension of like, okay, I'm going to accept this friend request. How's this going to go? Now, in this case, both of them beat me, so I wasn't too. I wasn't too worried. But yeah, generally it has been to say like, oh, I listen to the show. I really appreciate what you're doing, and so yes, thank you, listeners, for your words of appreciation. I feel like, get to reach more people in something like the Brawl, right? Because it's a little different in terms of calculation of who you face. So that was pretty cool. I think one of them username was Eos, but I don't recall. Sorry. And yes, but hopefully you're listening and you both know who you are. So yes, thank you for the kind words.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us for this week. So until next time, keep calm and watch the clock. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
All life must end. I yield for now. I concede. Well fought. I concede.
You win this one.
The victory is yours.
You have bested me.
I give up.
You win this one, friend. You win this time. I choose death.